dinosaur erotica. Everyone's been in the mood for some dino erotica every now and again, right? Right? So I saw a TikTok talking about this book, Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer. I let that soak into my brain, and then I was like, that's a yes from me. That's a yes from me, dog. I didn't want any spoilers. I said, dino erotica? Say less. And I added it to my TBR. Well, here we are. And here's the thing about this is there are 6 books in this series of dinosaur erotica with titles such as Dino Stud. That one's a little tame. Triceratops and Bottoms. How Stego got his groove back. Okay. Tyrannosaurus Sexed. All right, that's just clever. The tagline for this book says, she was a country girl looking for excitement. He was an apex predator theropod. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert for my own maybe drunk book reviews was not a good idea for me. Here's the thing. Don't let the cover fool you. This book is not just ridiculous dinosaur human sex. A lot of it is, but it's not. You know, it has some heart. And so let's talk about it. I do want to mention the beginning says this. To all my sensitivity readers who, after being revived with smelling salts, suggested the following trigger warnings. Dinosaur sex, ornithoskeletophobia, camping, candy, brains, sexism, misogyny, speciesism, classism, ableism, fire, water, forests, farms, unorthodox use of personal lubricant, inaccurate dinosaur anatomy for the sake of the story, accurate dinosaur anatomy for the sake of accuracy, feathers, Canada, South Dakota, Walmart, cornfields, barns, pickup trucks, immigration paperwork, portable toilets, decapitation, taffy pulling, religion, venture capital, vegetables. So that's all you need to know from that. Our main character is Tanis with a T. Tanis. What are their names in Game of Thrones? The Lannisters? Because they kind of sound like Lannister, Tanis. But anyway, so there's Tanis. And, you know, she's not like other girls. She grew up on a farm. She's barely 18, which we love. And she is not like other girls because she's hot, but like, she doesn't know that she's hot. She's like, I inherited my mom's big boobs and big butt and honey golden hair that shines in the light, but like, it's not a big deal or anything. So she's hot. And she's like fascinated with the dinosaurs nearby. Nothing spicy. She's just had a fascination with them. She draws them. But she lives with a very dino-phobic family. Like her dad, when he saw that she was like drawing dinosaurs, ripped it up, slapped her across the face. Child abuse. Trigger warning. And so she can't really like say how fascinated she is with the dinosaurs. Cue, right at the beginning, we meet this Allosaurus. The Allosaurus. And if you care about how dinosaurs came to be in this world, this book does explain how that happened, but I'm not going to explain that to you. All right? Do your own research. Jeez, don't be lazy. Then one day, she meets the Allosaurus. This is how Allosaurus is described. She followed the tree-thick leg up to its strong hips, wide chest, and finally the glorious saurian head 8 feet above the barn floor. The word came unbidden into her mind. Allosaurus. His eyes were the deep green of oceans she had only imagined in her dreams. His cheekbones looked carved from prehistoric cliffs. His feathered dew was coiffed in a sexy and hip honky-tonk curl. That was the moment when I was like, we're in for a good time. This is going to be fun. But you should know, remember, okay, just for science, legs as like thick as tree trunks and 8 feet off the ground, okay? Tanis, they don't say how tall she is, but she's not like other girls, so she has to be tiny and petite and like, oh, so fragile. So she's probably like 5'2", just so you can get an idea of like what we're looking at right here. The dinosaurs and humans can communicate telepathically. So she has to like touch his device and then she can like hear his thoughts or whatever. And she does that. And he's like, I've been thinking of you too, Tanis. Ma'am? He's like, I've been thinking of you too, Tanis. This is all moving so fast. And so she can see that he's like, doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he wants to take her and, you know, mate with her or eat her. He doesn't know. And suddenly that's just like, so exciting to Tanis. That like really gets her motor running. So he starts like licking her ear and neck. Very erotic. Suddenly, Tanis's dinophobic father comes storming out of the house and is like, get the away from my daughter, you bitch. Oh, that's from Harry Potter. But anyway, he's got his shotgun and he's like, get out of the way. And he's about to like lose it. And Tanis is now deeply, madly in love with this Allosaurus. So she jumps in front of him like, no. And she gets shot. Yeah, daddy shot her right here in the shoulder. And she's like passing out because he literally shot her arm right off. And the Allosaurus goes to eat him. And she's like, no. Don't. And he says, you would save him? And she's like, yeah, he's my daddy. That sounded really sexual. I wanted to make it sound like Southern. My daddy. It's not much. It's a simple life. So arm gets blown right off. Allosaurus doesn't have a name. Scoops her up. They start booking it. Okay. They're running away to safety. Allosaurus is also like very, very in love with her. And this is my favorite part of any book, not just this book, of any book I have ever read in my entire life. Are you ready? What do I call you? She asked. We don't really have names, he said, but you can call me Big Al. She repeated the name out loud and telepathically. Big Al. It was so beautiful to her, so simple. She couldn't believe she was here in the field with a dinosaur. Her dinosaur. Big Al. Oh, yeah. Big Al. Oh my God. Lola Faust. I do not know if that is her pen name or is that her real name. To be honest, I didn't look it up. I want to give you a hug. Genius. Absolutely genius. I love that. We know his name is Big Al, which he really had ready and available. Like he thought about this. We don't really have names, but I guess you could call me Big Al. Like he thought about that. Come on. He had that prepared. After this moment, Tanis, her arm is just dangling there. She's bleeding to death. Okay, she's gonna die. At this point, I really thought that this was gonna be one of those moments where the love interest is nursing her wounds and then it turns sexy. He doesn't even do the nursing her wounds part. Doesn't even do it. Just rips her clothes off and they are off to the races. We have our first moment of interspecies relations. They have a really great time. They have a super, super fun time in this scene. Okay? That's all you need to know. If you guys have watched some of my other videos, I talk about how I hate the description of the woman feels like she's being split in two or like it's really painful because I'm sorry, that's not normal. In this one, Lord, I am so glad that Lola Faust did not describe what his dinosaur member looked like. I'm so glad she didn't because I actually really, really don't want to know. The vague picture that my vivid imagination has come up with is enough. I don't need to know the description, but he's 8 feet tall and has legs as thick as tree trunks. Okay. So we can imagine that he and her are not compatible. His body part is not compatible with her genitals, okay? And they make it very clear that that is true, that she really is in a lot of pain and yet having a good time. I can't explain it, but okay. After they have their time, he communicated with her and said, I'm so hungry. I don't know what to do. And he says, I love the taste of your blood. And he gets kind of shy when he says that. Yeah, I just like the taste of your blood. Oh, it's not a big deal. And then Tanis is like, wow, well, I mean, God, really? I mean, I do have this arm that's just hanging here. I'm not really using it anymore. You can have it if you want. And so he just chomps her arm clean off. Later on in the book, she mentions that she really enjoyed that and enjoyed that he got to eat a part of her like a little flesh protein bar. Which is absolutely horrifying. Oh my God. And the next day she wakes up. She's fine, by the way. How has she survived this? He took his magical Allosaurus feathers, which by the way, they have healing properties, wrapped up her shoulder, and she was fine. So they're good. The interesting thing about this is that as they're continuing their journey, Tanis is just feeling a little wanting again, Ladies, you know how it is when you really, really want your dinosaur boyfriend. And so she kind of wiggles free from his grasp and hangs down from his neck with her ankles, which I assume this very detailed description is trying to get around saying that they were going to 69. That's what they were trying to say. She didn't want to say it. Yeah. So I just have this visual of literally the Allosaurus running to wherever they're going. Oh, at this point now I remember. They're going to a dinosaur human sanctuary where they can love the way they want to love. And so he's running, but she's hanging by her ankles around his neck and diddling him. He held her legs so she was suspended upside down and lowered his neck to lick her back. Okay. Are you getting the picture? Big Al stopped her, touched her to say, I want you completely. He let go of her legs. She slid down, landing face first onto the earth. He just straight up let go. Her ankles around his neck. He was just like, oh, I'm done. And she fell down. Wow. Always the gentleman. Here's where shit got so strange. And I know, I'm reading dinosaur erotica. It's already strange. This is where it got really weird. They go to this sanctuary and immediately he sees this like hot redhead. I mean, can you blame him? He grabs her and they go into the cornfields to have a go. And Tanis is like, excuse me, you're the love of my life. I just met you 2 days ago. We're getting married. What is this? I want monogamy. And then she discovers that this whole compound is like some strange cult. They really don't get into this very much. They don't describe this too much. And I find that frustrating because it was very strange and very interesting. And I wanted to see more. But anyway, she gets in and she has a women loving women experience with another woman and a female Allosaurus. I know. What the heck? Jesus. Why did this happen? I do not know. Some form of like ritual where they were like, welcome to our love cult. This is our ritual. Strange. The next morning, Tanis awakes and like she had some fun with the ladies. Like ladies know where it's at, right? But she also feels absolutely devastated. She will never love again because the male dinosaur that she was in love with and she thought that they were going to be monogamous forever, even though they never talked about that, mated with somebody else. Okay. And she says her heart was empty. Big Al, his honky tonk hair and his cocky stare, the smell and taste and size of him, his desire for her, the beating need of his subtly feathered body, the sheer Big Alness of him. He was a primordial jungle, verdant and hot and swelling, teeming with life, and he was a sex machine, pistoning into her like an oil derrick to reach the thick and beautiful fluid that burst from within her in ecstasy. Ooh, that last part got me. So basically Tanis goes outside and they're having like these weird mating rituals. Like, I don't know, like the human women are like doing these mating cries and then the Allosauruses are all lining up. I don't know what I'm about to get into. And then Big Al shows up and he's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know the humans were monogamous. Didn't know. But then he's also like, I kind of want to be, you're my one and only. I want to fight against my nature and I want to be just your Big Al, the Big Al to your Tanis. So they run away. They ditch the sanctuary and they leave. I wanted them to stay at the sanctuary longer because it is so bizarre and so strange and there's so many things that are unexplained, but they were just there for a second and then they dipped. He's like, I'm so sorry. Let me show you how I forgive you. And we get this passage. He lay her down between corn stalks that grew almost as tall as he was and pushed her brown dress up to her waist. Green sheathed ears of corn bulged out from the stalks like hard, uncircumcised penises. That, I don't even have words for that. That is so strange. So strange. Lola Faust, are you okay? You thought of that? Your little brain came up with that one. Your little noggin. Are you good? Yeesh. Here's another moment from that scene. You have to know the things that this says. Big Al's tongue licked her neck insistently, slurping up her sweat and dirt that clung to her sticky skin. Ugh. He folded her over forward like his own savory little tortilla. Oh my God. I ordered cookies. A savory tortilla. Ladies, does your man treat you like a savory little tortilla? If my man doesn't treat me like a savory little tortilla, then I don't even want him. Tanis and Big Al, they're going on quite a few adventures, okay? They run from her dad who shot her arm off. Well, actually, sorry, shot her arm. Then if you forgot, Big Al chomped it off. Then they go to this sex cult. Then as they're running away, they get, stopped by some like Confederate flag waving dinophobes that shoot Big Al and kidnap Tanis. But they're only there for a little bit because they get out really quickly. And apparently Allosauruses just heal really quickly. I think there's some magic in them. So after they escape from these dinophobes, they're basically homeless. Like she she is able to grab like this truck with a horse trailer, and Big Al goes in the horse trailer. And she has this like backstory that she tells people, that she was an equestrian trainer and that her horse is back there, but he's like not friendly, so you can't see him. And she's like having to steal clothes from Walmart. There's a couple $20 bills she found in the car, but they're homeless. There is a painfully long, detailed scene about how Big Al is hungry and Tanis is on her period. That's the trigger warning for menstruation right there, y'all. Tanis, first of all, she's like, sure, I'm not using this menstruation. You're hungry? Have a little snacky snack. But then she's like, what if I got a job at a slaughterhouse and I can like steal the meat or get paid in meat or whatever so that Big Al has food, right? And she goes to the slaughterhouse and she meets Dallas, who owns the slaughterhouse, and he's super nice. He's this very nice old Southern man, and he just is like excited to meet her and help her. She's like, can I get paid in brains? And he's like, you want to get paid in brains? And she's like, yeah, I really like them. He's like, I'll pay you money, human money, and I'll also give you the brains because we can't do anything with them. So this is a great little setup. Big Al still has to be in hiding, but now Tanis has access to all these brains and he's going to be fine. He's going to survive. Also, she meets an asshole that works for Dallas named Jimmy. Jimmy and Dallas, what great Southern names, okay? Jimmy finds out that Tanis has a dinosaur and it's not a horse. And he's like, how can I profit off of this information? And he sees Tanis's photo online because she's missing and her dad is missing her. No, she's missing and her dad is looking for her. There's this scene where they both need a bath. And so they find this like little creek or something and they're, taking a bath. Look at her little paw on my neck. You are purring so loud. Oh my God. You're very sweet. You're very sweet. This is what I mean when I say this writing has no business being so good. This is actually beautiful. Tanis rubbed the water from her eyes, shivering from the cold and heat combined, and gazed at her dinosaur lover. Water beaded on his body feathers, which seemed to serve the same function as a duck's, wicking the moisture away from his beautifully scaled saurian skin. Sunlight snuck between the treetops and illuminated the droplets like iridescent jewels, as if Big Al were a creature made entirely of sunshine and precious gems. Why is that so beautiful? Why do I like that so much? After that beautiful piece of writing, we also get this. He pounded into her harder and faster as if making her into mochi. And I just really love that balance. Yin and yang, Basically, Jimmy's an asshole and saw that her dad was like, she was a missing person, and he thought that he could get like money from this. I don't know. So the police show up, Jimmy's there, her dad is there, and they're like gonna take Big Al into custody. But she's like, I'm 18, almost 19. So she's like an adult, obviously. And she's like, I'm not missing. I'm right here. I'm exactly where I want to be. And her dad's like, he chomped your arm right off. And she's like, you shot me in the shoulder. And the police like believe her, which is the most unrealistic part of this story, because the angry white men that were there with the police officers, like I think they would be believed. We're suspending disbelief. Anyway, Dallas shows up and he's like, hey, they're fine. They work for me. We're good. And smacks Jimmy over the head. What? What do you want from me? I'm trying to read Dinosaur Erotica. Ah, hey, no. No. Dallas smacks Jimmy over the head and he like knocks him out. But then Jimmy says something like, I'll get you, you crazy kids, if it's the last thing I do, like threatens their life. And then Big Al, quote, pulled Jimmy in two like pieces of moist pink saltwater taffy. Just popped his head right off. Okay. And moving on, we just move right past that. Dallas finds him a place to live. Aw. I can't believe this book has a real heart. I thought this was just going to be a big joke, but I unironically, a couple times. And then we have the epilogue. It's 3 years later. Big Al's in a suit. Tanis is very into it. We get a, God, you look good in a suit. And I have to remind you that this is what an Allosaurus looks like. There's another moment of like, why is this writing so good? His powerful tail emerged from the back of a dinosaur-sized and shaped pair of finely woven suit pants, and a matching suit jacket was cut perfectly for his arms and barrel chest. Shimmery threads in the linen of his shirt set off the iridescence of his feathers, and he'd styled his fine feather crest in the Elvis curl she'd fallen in love with. How long ago now? It had only been 3 years, but it felt like a lifetime. Get out of here with that good writing. I can't tell if I love it or if it makes me mad. But there's an epilogue, and Tanis has this great idea that the slaughterhouses should be run by dinosaurs because working in a slaughterhouse gives people PTSD, apparently. Well, I mean, Tanis says that it does, and I kind of believe her. And the dinosaurs get to eat the brains and like the yucky stuff that people don't want. So it's really a win-win-win. And so she's pitching this idea to like a room full of execs. She is girl bossing her way to the top. You need to get your claws off of my mic. But then we find out the next day she got it, $35 million. Chump change. Right after she finds out that she gets it, they sit and they watch their orphan egg. They're watching this Allosaurus egg hatch. This orphan egg cracks and suddenly they have a little Al. That's what they named him. And they are very wealthy parents. I mean, God, $35 million. And this, again, this writing. The new family stood by the window, bathed in the golden light of late afternoon as they welcomed new life into the world, just as their ancestors had done for millions, billions of years, basking in joy and bliss under the warm and loving gaze of the very same sun. Actually, that is really good writing. I can't actually decide if I'm mad about that or not. And that's it. Wet, hot Allosaurus summer. I just yelled that. Jesus. I actually thought that I might read all of the Dinosaur erotica books and then make one video. No, there was actually way too much to talk about. I could not. The video would be 3 hours long if I read all of them. Here's the thing about it. Clearly the author did her research when it comes to monster romance. There are these jokes. She hits the tropes, the things that are in monster romance a lot. I'm very impressed. She's clearly a good writer. Even the parts that you would be like, these are bad, were actually hilarious and I really enjoyed reading it. This was an enjoyable read. I actually highly recommend. If you guys have an hour and a half and you want like a very fun read, I highly recommend this. This was super fun. The smut, I actually have no idea how to rate this. I can't rate this compared to other romance novels that I've rated. There was some filth. There were moments that made me nauseous. I don't know what to rate that. A 5, but not a good 5. I can't rate it. If I had to rate it, I would rate it 4 uncircumcised cobs of corn out of 5. That's my rating for that. But it's clearly supposed to be a joke. And yet there is this like little bit of earnestness in the book where it takes itself a little bit seriously, like just the right amount, where I was able to get to a point where I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's impressive. That is impressive. I am reading about an 8-foot tall dinosaur who communicates telepathically and his name is Big Al. Him having sex with a tiny manic pixie dream girl who's not like other girls. And I liked the love story. Magic. I don't know how she did it. Magic. Witchcraft. If you want me to read the other dinosaur erotica books in this series, let me know. I'll do it. I was going to pretend like, I'll do it for you. But no, I will. I will do it. Actually, I just really hope are no more corn cobs. I don't want to think about corn cobs in that way. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram if you want. Hannah.Bales. You can support me over on Patreon if you want. You can check out my main channel. If you happen to be here and you've never like heard of me before, oh my God. Hi, welcome to my second channel. I have a main channel and I make like a lot of videos over there. Anyway, I love you. If you read this and then you have an unconscious, involuntary, spicy dream about a dinosaur, let me know in the comments. I want to know. Bye.